We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in. Good morning. It's Sports by the Book here on a Saturday. I'm Jeff Parles, Alex White alongside. We're thrilled to be with you as always here. Alex, a lot of bowl games, NFL trio of games here today. And again, it's the final weekend of the year right now.
Very intriguing NFL games. I'm excited to get to those. And then you mentioned it on Ralph's show. I mean, this bowl season has been so much fun. A lot of overs, a lot of overtime. So hoping to get some more exciting games today.
I'm going to have this in my hand the whole day. You have until 12:30, okay? You have until 12:30 out here on the West Coast, because that's when the Pop-Tarts Bowl gets going between Iowa State and Miami. We forgot to ask Ralph what his favorite Pop-Tart is. That was quite the discussion 2 weeks ago. Vinny was very angry at the toaster trophy that's going to be given out at the end of this. 15 games, winners only, $5 a card, as many cards as you want, $25,000 guaranteed. Chris Andrews tweeted it out this morning. There is an overlay right now, a little bit over $19,000 on this thing. So you don't see that type of opportunity in the betting world basically ever. So come down here, go to the Rampart if you live in Summerlin watching us. If you're driving through, if you're trying to make your way to California from I-15, if you want to get some action, if you happen to live in Utah watching us right now, we know you can't get action in Utah. So you got to get to Mesquite, Virgin River, Casablanca. Get out there before 12:30. Make sure they're in. They have to be in by the time that game tips, Alex, between Iowa State and Miami.
Third time we've had a jackpot parlay card here at the South Point. Always a lot of fun, right? The first week of NFL, then we did Conference Championship Week. Now they've got the College Bowl. So your chances are even better. There have not been that many cards filled out yet. You can do as many as you want. I'm definitely going to after this show. Looking forward to these games as well.
Should be a fun day of college bowl games. By the way, there is already a bowl game that is underway already. UConn and North Carolina in Boston at Fenway Park. North Carolina causing a 2-point favorite in that game against UConn. Again, Huskies, great year for Jim Mora Jr. and company. Carolina at least made it to a bowl. Mac Brown, of course, stepping down. Bill Belichick going to be coaching, not this game, but will be the head coach next year, of course, for Carolina Blue, the Tar Heels on that one. We'll get all the college bowl games a little bit later, because today, of course, despite what our graphic said, 3 NFL games here today, right out of the gate. And we get to start in Foxborough, Massachusetts. See, it's all about Massachusetts here. You got Boston for the Fenway Bowl. Boston College is in action later.
Right.
And New England Patriots in action against the LA Chargers here this afternoon on the East Coast, morning for us here on the West Coast. Game kicks in 2 hours. And Alex, this has been a fun mover here at the South Point. A lot of action on this game. Started at 5.5, got down to 4, And now it's come back up the ladder, and it's 6 now with the LA Chargers on the road, cross country, with a win. They're in the postseason after missing a year ago. A total of 42 in this one.
I love the Chargers at 4. I jumped in there. I still like them here at 6. This is one of those games, and we'll talk about this a lot today and tomorrow, but there's certain games where you're going to pay a tax for a team that's already been eliminated compared to a team that has a lot of motivation, just needs to win to clinch their spot. This is a scenario, though, that I think this number is still too low here at 6 for the Chargers. The Chargers also have a really good opportunity to sneak into the 5 seed, which would mean they would play Houston first instead of going to Baltimore. That's a huge difference here. They do need some help. They need the Bengals to beat the Steelers next week, but they need to take care of business here today. They're the first game on the board. They'll be ready to play. Also, J.K. Dobbins has been activated, so that is huge for their run game. We saw them kind of struggle without him. They did start to get Gus Edwards going more in the last few weeks, but I really like the Chargers here. The Patriots have been playing competitive. I understand that. We just saw them keep it very close against the Bills. It's also a division rival. They have the Bills up next again. So I like the Chargers in this spot, even though it is an LA team going to the Colt.
You mentioned the big thing there with Dobbins. The run game just not the same without him finally back after that knee injury. You're looking at a scenario here more than anything for the Chargers, and you just mentioned it. We mentioned it a little bit yesterday. The door is open for the 5 seed, which is a gigantic difference in potentially, forget just winning a game in the playoffs, potentially pulling a shocking run in this postseason, because Houston might very well end up being the lowest power rated team in the NFL playoffs, period, of the 14. Chargers are 6-point favorites this week. They're going to be bigger favorites next week here in Las Vegas. Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati, where if the Bengals are still alive going to next week, I mean, the Bengals are playing for everything potentially next week against the Steelers. So, and whoever gets the Ravens, I don't see either the Chargers going cross country beating the Ravens or the Steelers beating the Ravens a second time this year, especially after what we've seen from Pittsburgh the last few weeks. This game, now that we're at 6, it would only be a dog take for me. Now this is a pure number take. I mentioned this on the show yesterday with Chris and Vinny, Alex. Drake May has been great. I know the numbers don't necessarily back that up, but just watch the games. Other than the really bad rookie decision last week that really, in essence, flipped that game towards Buffalo for good, Drake May's been great behind an offensive line that's terrible, with a team that has no skill weapons that should be on the roster next year except for the running back and Ramondre Stevenson. This is, I guess Jalen Polk should be there, but he's a rookie. But this is a scenario here for the Patriots where it looks like they may have hit on their guy with ending up getting the 3rd choice in last year's draft. I think this can be a one-score game. I'd be stunned if the Chargers blew this game completely. It is still the Chargers. Granted, it's Jim Harbaugh now. But I am going to take the 6. I'm curious to see if this gets higher. I doubt it does. But if this gets higher before kick, it would still be absolutely a take. 6, 6.5. We won't see 7, but 6.5 would, I think, don't blink, go get it on New England.
I will say another rookie that has been great is McConkey. And the connection between Herbert and him has been fantastic. Going into this year, there was so much talk about the Chargers have no weapons for Justin Herbert. Well, they found one in McConkey. So, yeah, Drake May, he's very poised. He uses his legs when needed, he doesn't overdo it to put him in bad spots to get injured. But there's definitely a coaching advantage here. You just brought up Harbaugh now coaching the Chargers, and he's done a fantastic job in the first year. And then Mayo on the other side, we've seen a little bit of bad decisions by him throughout the season. So coaching advantage to the Chargers as well. By
the way, I don't know if you saw this, Alex. One of the daily fantasy companies is doing a promotion today where if every catch Quentin Johnston gets, it's an extra $500 to a bonus pot. Which is one of the more vicious promotions I think I've ever seen, because it's the watching the ball drop giveaway, which is just brutal in every which way. So I kind of would like to see Johnston have a big game today just because of that, make You can do something that's pretty mean. Whatever. Let's have the guy have a big day in the office for QJ there. 42 total hasn't moved all week, Alex.
No.
Which is, again, you have to be alert of your weather this week because the weather across the league is all over the map. Actually looks okay. Currently slight rain in Foxborough, but it looks like it'll clear by game time. 43 degrees the Sunday after Christmas. In New England, you take that 100 times out of 100.
Absolutely. And you are right. There are a few games that we will get to that you definitely will have to talk about the weather.
All right, let's go to game 2 in the NFL slate. The Bengals playing for the playoff lives, hosting the Denver Broncos here today. Denver wins, they're in. It would be their first playoff appearance since they won Super Bowl 50 back in 2015. So, again, second longest stretch without a postseason berth in the NFL right now. 3.5 behind us, but that's mostly, again, Chris and company don't move off -110 either side, unless if they're doing a -105 each side promotion for full game odds. There's a lot of 3 -20 on the favorite. Chris and company at -3.5 on Cincinnati with a total of 50 in this game. Super high for a Denver game, but Alex, we know the drill with the Bengals at this point this year.
Yes, we do. This is one that we do need to check the weather. Otherwise, I definitely will be on this over because the Broncos, we've been seeing them fly over the total. We saw them versus the Chargers on that Thursday night game, just going back and forth, having a lot of success offensively. I lean to the dog here, especially getting that hook. And I know what it means for the Bengals, but the Broncos, they need this just as bad, and they definitely have the better defense. They're still 4th in points allowed, holding teams to just 19. Can they slow down Joe Burrow and company? That is the question, but I think this is a field goal game as well.
So the big thing here, Riley Moss, who has been out for a few weeks now, was a full participant in practice this week, so it looks like he's going to be ready to go. He's their number 2 corner. As great as Pat Surtain II is, the guys behind him, and part of the reason that these Denver games have been over games recently, is that the auxiliary guys in that secondary have been brutal. Been a really hard regress for the guys behind Surtain. You get Moss back, that defense looks a lot better. Now, I don't know how much that matters today with Cincinnati, of course, Burrow. That offense has been arguably the best offense in the NFL. It's just that their defense has been at a level of ineptitude that we've just not seen very often in this league for a reasonable team. But boy, 3.5 is staring you right in the face, right? With just taking the points that this is one way or another a field goal game. I do think Cincinnati wins. I do think they win. I think they keep themselves alive in the next week. But boy, I would not lay north of 3. I actually said on the show yesterday, I think this game lands 3, and of course got a reaction out of Vinny because of that. But I think this is one of those, if you lay 3, fine. If you take 3.5, fine. I can't really quibble either way with that, Alex.
No, I'm with you. I really do think, even though we have seen the Bengals their last 3 games, we've seen them win by pretty good margin here. Cleveland 24-6, of course, and then Tennessee by 10 and Dallas by 7. But just with how meaningful this game is and how good Denver's defense has been throughout the year, I think this is a field goal game.
Wouldn't shock me one way or another. 50 total, Alex. He said weather-wise, a consideration. This looked at the beginning of the week like there was going to be a mess weather-wise here. Chance of rain, wind about 4 miles an hour at kick. So all things considered, not horrendous. It's going to be nearing 60 degrees. Again, we would have gotten a ton of snow globes this week if it was about 15 degrees, 20 degrees cooler in a lot of these spots. 25 degrees cooler in Cincinnati we needed. But looks like the weather's going to be okay, all things considered, which then, of course, again, it may not be the fastest of tracks, but the wind and the precipitation are seemingly, again, slight factor on the precipitation. Winds under 5 miles an hour, that's a non-factor at this point.
Well, then I think that this is definitely leaning more towards an over. I didn't make it too much higher than this. I'm just sitting right here at 51.5. So I do like to have a 5-point difference on my total, but just the way we've seen Bengals games go. I mean, last week against Cleveland, they didn't have much offense as help, but I think the Broncos are a good partner to help get this over.
Denver, again, needs to win in order to get. Denver wins one of the last two they're in. No one can catch them. No one else can get to 10 in the AFC behind them. Cincinnati needs to win this game. Denver needs to lose to Kansas City next week. And Miami and Indianapolis need to split their last two games at worst or at best for Cincinnati, whatever way you want to look at it. Miami and Indy are both going to be they're both more than 6-point favorites this week. Mm-hmm. Miami will probably be the slightest of favorites on the road against the Jets next week just because of the power rating, even though we know the Jets stink. And Indy's going to be a big favorite at home, regardless of quarterback against Jacksonville. We know Indy's had problems with the Jags through the years, but usually they beat them in Indianapolis. So a lot of help needed for Cincinnati in order to sneak in the back door into the AFC playoffs. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get the third NFL game of the day. We'll get all the college bowl games and more when we get back. Sports by the Book here on a Saturday morning.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu, plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
Welcome back in. It's Sports by the Book here on a Saturday morning. Jeff Parles, Alex White, thrilled to be with you as always here on the final Saturday of 2024. As we get rolling again, 3 NFL games. Again, we went through the first 2 in the first 15 minutes or so. We'll get the third one right here, where the LA Rams are squarely in the driver's seat in the NFC West. Win their last 2 games, both at home. You win the division in a year that the Rams were 1-4 at the bye week. Looked like it was going to be all over, all those injuries. After a slow start for the second straight year, en route for a second consecutive playoff berth for LA. Cardinals, again, really started off, again, one of the bigger surprises in the league in last 4 weeks. Not so good. They're done. They officially eliminated with that loss in Charlotte a week ago. Alex, 6.5 on this game with the Rams. Total 47.5 at SoFi, the nightcap of the tripleheader here. Been a toggler, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 6.5 now.
I missed the 7 here. I didn't jump in only because I'm curious about James Conner. He has been such a huge part of this Cardinals offense, and he was questionable throughout the week. So still don't even know his status. I know that you are looking that up for me, but to your point about the Rams, look like a bad season to start 1-4, and Sean McVay just makes the most of less with his teams. And I say that, but Kyron Williams is having a fantastic year again. Puka Nacua is a huge weapon for Matthew Stafford. So I do think they get it done. I just think this is one of those games where you're paying a huge tax. I don't think that the Rams should actually be 6.5-point favorites over the Cardinals. We saw when they first played, though, the Cardinals absolutely killed them. I believe it's 42-10. Yep. So the Rams definitely will have that in the back of their mind, too, and be ready to play in this one against Arizona. But lean to taking the points. If we can see another 7, and I know that James Conner is playing, it'll be a definite grab for me.
So that was all the way back in week 2, that game you mentioned. I'll ask you this, because I know we say, the blink of an eye, but by NFL terms, playing in week 2 versus playing in week 17, basically the same as a baseball team playing series against each other the first week of April and then the last series of the year. How much do you take, especially now where the NFL preseason is kind of a joke, more so than anything?
Right.
How much do you take results that happen those first 2 weeks of the year and then flip them around? And we'll see this a few times this week and next week, especially in the divisional week in week 18. How do you take those early season results and flip them into your handicap for these week 17, week 18 games?
I think you said it perfectly right there. The first 3 weeks of the regular season now is kind of like preseason and these teams figuring things out. So you can't really take much at all. And we talked about Kyler Murray and one of the disadvantages for him, but we've really seen in December his numbers just drop significantly and defenses be able to figure him out and get some stops there. So I think that has to be considered as well. But yeah, very impressive to see this Rams team. Now, Seattle did find a way to win that boring Thursday night football game 6-3. So they did their job. They're hoping that the Cardinals can knock off the Rams here. And then those two, Seattle and LA, will face each other next week.
This game, I have no feel, Alex. I know that 7 would have been a take. It makes sense. Total number take. Again, Cardinals, smashed this team earlier in the year. I don't know what to do with this game. This feels like it's too high, but I wouldn't be shocked, especially with how the way the game went last week with Arizona, where they had to dig out of a hole, got the game to overtime, then blew the game in overtime to be eliminated completely from postseason contention. I would not be shocked if this is a complete no-show today. And then next week against the 49ers is the one where they show up looking for a season sweep against the Niners and also looking to stay out of the cellar. Loser of that game would be in the cellar of the division, as crazy as that is. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to lay 6.5 with the Rams. Rams, it's a weird cycle in that division where the 49ers beat the Seahawks, Seahawks beat the Cardinals beat the Rams, and then the Rams have played the Rams have beat the 49ers twice this year. So it's just this very weird cycle where everyone kind of just beats each other up through the years. So probably a stay away more so than anything.
Very down year for that division.
Surprisingly so. Going in. One playoff berth, unless if we get some real chaotic stuff over the last few weeks in that NFC West. Again, Rams on pace to get the 3 seed because of what's happened in the NFC South with somehow the Falcons having the berth entering this week.
I do want to ask you before we get to college, are you playing in a championship fantasy game this weekend against Frank Nicotero?
I am.
Okay, that is.
Yeah, I for the sake of all of us, I hope I win, but whatever. It's kind of insane. Poor Sean, who had the best team all year, gets completely crushed by the best week I think I've had in fantasy in 5 years. So I feel for Sean. Sean, we had the 2 best teams, even though we played in the first round. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's fantasy football.
That's right.
By the way, I will say, if I win the league, I will have a retirement ceremony on Punchlines that week after the fantasy football league is over. Not from this job, from fantasy football. Okay. I had to clarify that. There might be people celebrating if it was for this, but I have to, for fantasy football, this is 100%. If I win the studio league, there will absolutely be a retirement ceremony for me for fantasy football on that Friday, 100%.
I can't blame you at all.
Not even a doubt on that. All right. My brain just moved to a totally different place there, Alex. I got very excited that I might never have to do fantasy football again. All right, let's go to these bowl games. By the way, real quick, in Boston, Fenway Bowl, UConn closed as a 2-point underdog. They lead 3-0 midway through the first quarter. That is the first ever. Well, I'm sure this has happened in the past for this bowl game, but the obstructed view camera angle right now, when you're going left to right in this game, Alex. Pesky, of course, played at Fenway. Pesky's pole, the right field foul pole at Fenway. Nice blocking of in the red zone going from left to right. So a lot of fun on that. I actually did bet UConn first quarter.
Okay.
That's the only bet that I had in this game. Didn't know what I was going to get early from UNC, but so that was the main reason I did it. But yeah, sorry for the pass post on that, but at least just throwing that into the ether on this one. All right. Keep the theme with baseball stadiums. You want to do that?
Yep. Let's go to the Fenway Bowl.
Let's go to Pinstripe Bowl.
That's right, Pinstripe Bowl.
American League East flavor here. Yankee Stadium, the site. Well, you do have another Boston team. The Eagles go south down to take on the Cornhuskers. Boston College, Nebraska. Alex, I'll tell you this. My bowl strategy this year. It's funny because I'm in one of those ridiculous bowl pick'ems on ESPN where the lines have been stale for forever, and it feels like I can't lose on those. And then when you get to the regular lines, I'm like, I can't. Like, how can you justify betting? Like last night, if you bet the wrong bad number on Syracuse, you lost.
Right.
Granted, before that, rest of the bowl season, if you've been betting bad numbers, you've been winning basically all the way through. This one, you know, the numbers haven't gotten too out of control because Nebraska opened a 2.5-point favorite. The highest they were is 4. It's now 3.5 in this game. So this is not like one of those egregious one where we've seen, again, Navy and Oklahoma. You legitimately did not lose on any Navy numbers, even though Navy opened a 9.5-point underdog, close to 1-point favorite, 1-1. But what do we do here? Again, this is a complicated. These are complicated games to figure out. Both starting quarterbacks at the end of the year are playing in this game. Raiola playing for Nebraska, Grayson James playing for Boston College in this game.
This was really tough for me. I tried to still make my numbers as the last power rating that I had for teams going into bowl season. So I do have Nebraska 3 here, but you know how much I really like this Boston College team and what Bill O'Brien has already done here in his first year. Grayson James, you saw him play the last 4 games, did very good. And then on the flip side, Raiola, since they brought in Holger in and trying to switch up that offense a little bit, he has been better. I leaned at taking the points here still with Boston College, thinking they can keep it close. And now that this number has bumped up to 47, I could see taking an under here. Both of these defenses were pretty good all year long. Boston College holding teams to an average of 24 points and Nebraska just 20. So even though we have both starting quarterbacks, I could see the defenses showing up as well. But that's what makes bowl season so tough. And that's why I haven't completely jumped in, because we've also seen a lot of these teams just playing free and loose and letting their offense go. So that worries me here with the total.
In-game has been your friend in these bowl games this year, even though that Oklahoma, see, everything goes back to Sean's favorite team just messing things up continuously. But I don't know what to do. I mean, so I like both of these coaches. I know Rule has not been as successful as Nebraska has been hoping for in these first few years. I don't know if they'll ever turn the corner. Nebraska might just be stuck in purgatory for the rest of the time. But Bill O'Brien, in year one, remember, this is a Boston College team that was projected to do nothing this year, and they easily made a bowl game. Actually, by the end of the year, one of the better teams in the ACC, really more an indictment of the league more than it is anything. But I feels like if you're giving me north of 3, with the way that Nebraska has found ways to blow games this year, I kind of want to just take the 3.5 and hope this game lands that field goal. I know Vinny would love that, but that would be the only way I'd look to do that here. I'll probably stay off and see. Again, there are opt-outs on both sides here, as always, as it's going to be for all these games moving forward. But just keep a lookout for an in-game scenario here. All right, let's go to the New Mexico Bowl next. Cajuns, Horned Frogs. What a mascot battle, honestly, actually. TCU, 9-point favorites over the runner-ups in the Sun Belt. Total 60.5 for Alex. I'm looking for any reason to bet the Cajuns here. You missed the best of it, though. That's the real problem, because you could have gotten double digits, I mean, the whole way through. You opened at 12.5, as high as 13, was basically 10.5 the last day plus. So you're missing the best of the number. This is all going to come down to motivation for me on the TCU side. If TCU's motivated, they should win this game by 3 touchdowns. But as we've seen, even in a regular season game, TCU's motivation this year has been suspect at times, Alex.
No, it definitely has, right? And we were betting against them a lot this year. I did make them 10 still in this game against Louisiana, so I can't justify doing anything. And I also have the total right there. So this was an immediate stay away, even though Louisiana did have a pretty good season. So I can't fault anybody for taking points here in this game.
Yeah, I just can't justify bad numbers at this point, but in-game, just seriously, look in-game for all these games. You can, these bowl games, you can glean a lot for the most part early. Now, this year, it's, again, there's been some games where last night where looked like if you took USC in game, you were dunzo and then found a way to win that game. The Trojans did. Oklahoma, Navy. I mean, if you took a bunch of numbers on Navy in game, you won them all.
Yeah.
But just tread carefully as always with all these bowl games. All right. The first game on this card right here. Again, $5 college bowl jackpot parlay card. 15 games. Pick the winners. There's a humongous overlay right now, nearing 19K. So if got to get it in by 12:30 Pacific time. That's when this first game we're talking about that's on the bottom of your screen, Miami and Iowa State, gets going. Alex, Cam Ward's going to start this game for the Canes. Now, we don't know if Cam Ward is going to finish this game, but we know he's going to start this game.
Yep.
So there could be some weird correlation here for me in this game where I don't mind taking Miami first half.
Yep.
Now, granted, again, you're taking the worst of the number, but again, we know Cam Ward's playing in this game now. So you can lay 2.5 with Miami first half. And then I would strongly consider doubling back on Iowa State at halftime. Because just in case if we get the scenario, and we talked about this with Chris Felica yesterday, and I think he's right, we could very easily get the Cam Ward plays the first half and then the first play of the third quarter and then gets a giant ovation from the Miami fans that are in attendance in Orlando. And that's that. And then that's advantage Iowa State, who, again, Rocco Beck's playing here today, at least at the quarterback position on the Iowa State side.
I don't mind that at all. I just am still a little worried about Iowa State even finishing this game and winning this game. Now, if you're getting a better number and Miami has a great lead, then yeah, I would jump in on Iowa State if you're getting at least a touchdown. But Matt Campbell has been very disappointing in his bowl games. He's 1-4 straight up and 2-3 against the spread. So even with Cam Ward stepping out, this was the number one. Well, with Cam Ward throughout the season, this is the number one offense in the country in points for, averaging 44. Number one in total yards. So I still think that they'll be able to do some stuff with the backup quarterback. I really like the over. I went over 61. I know it's a high number, but you mentioned it. Rocco Beck on one side, Cam Ward at least starting for Miami. I think that we could get a lot of points here, even in the first half, and then finish it off in the second to get over that 61. So over is the best bet. I leaned at Miami, even taking the 3.5 full game, but I really like your first half the best.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Just lay first half and see, again, if Ward, again, you could also tread carefully here. If Ward comes out and actually plays the whole second half, then be very careful here. Iowa State's defense, the last time we saw them was, like you said, that was an embarrassment, what we saw in the, and look, Arizona State's a legit good, deserve it playoff bid team when it was all said and done. But that was gross what Iowa State's defense did in that game. By the way, Iowa State pretty clean on the opt-outs here. It's only one offensive lineman's not playing on the offensive side of the ball. All those receivers are playing. This should be a legitimately good game. Your strep on the Miami side doesn't look like he's going to play, though. That's the biggest opt-out on the Miami side of things to keep in mind here for this game. All right, let's go to the Snoop Dogg Bowl next in Arizona. That field looks amazing, by the way. Super cool.
I did just want to mention, about those other two.
Go ahead.
Both teams are looking for their 11th victory.
This is Miami and Iowa State still.
Still. Yes. Iowa State has never done that.
Correct.
And Miami has not since 2003. So, as you talked about, should actually be a good game between these two. I think both of them will be highly motivated.
The Iowa State, of course, this is their first double-digit win season. Forget trying to get to 11 for the first time. They never made it to 10 before this year, which I know that program was awful for a very long time. Still kind of surprising they never popped one to double digits before this year. All right, so game on the bottom of your screen, Miami of Ohio, Colorado State. This one's on the card, too. Again, $5. I got $5, chance at $25,000 here at the South Point, Rampart, Casablanca, and Virgin River up in Mesquite. This game is on there. Alex, I don't know what the heck to do with this game. No idea. Miami, Ohio is a 2.5-point favorite in this game. Total of 42, Alex. Opened Red Hawks 3, so 2.5. Really, again, this one not a crazy mover here for these bowl season games. Not bad when you only get a half-point move.
I think with these two, it's been kind of known who the opt-outs were pretty early on. And even though Miami, Ohio is going to miss a couple receivers, it looks like Colorado State is being hit really hard. So they're missing guys on their defensive side, leading tackler. They're missing wide receivers. I think this is going to be a run-heavy game for both of these teams. I'm not surprised with that 42 total sitting there. Might be able to just wait it out and see how they are playing, and still go under a number pretty comfortably here, because I think it's going to be a lot of running in this one, running the rock. So nothing for me. I lean to Miami, Ohio. I did make them 4 in this one, trying to calculate and take out some of the players that will not be there.
Like I said, I have no idea what to do with this game. Not even a clue. With these two teams. Again, I two teams I didn't really love Colorado State during the year. I know that they had a sparkly Mountain West record, but that was because they played a cupcake of a Mountain West schedule. And thankfully, we got the right game in the Mountain West title game. At least they lost to the one reasonable team they played in Fresno. Miami, Ohio started the year awful against higher end competition, but then ended up in the MAC championship game. Now, the MAC championship game was a mess. They got clocked by Ohio. Like you said, both teams hit with opt-outs. Miami of Ohio's opt-outs less impactful than Colorado State's ones here in this one. All right, let's take a break. When we get back, a few more bowl games, including a Big 12 matchup in the Alamo Bowl. Thank you, Pac-12 tie-ins still for giving us this one, even though a little bit of an intrigue. Looks like the Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to play for the Buffs. So we'll get to that. And we'll also look at more across the sports landscape here on Sports by the Book on a Saturday morning.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sportsbook, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the Racebook, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book here on a Saturday morning. Real quick in the chat, Alex. Our friend Minidar, who, by the way, the Broncos in action. So we, of course, Minidar claims I hate the Broncos more than anyone in the NFL, which is again just not true. The Patriots still exist, but you know I will tell you this. He's asking about an NBA game. We know the rules when I talk NBA. If I make a pre-flop NBA game, Ryan McCormick is allowed to smack me in the face. So we're not going to have Ryan be able to exercise that option here on a Saturday, especially though Ryan is probably enjoying his day off. He asked about the Heat and the Hawks game here today. By the way, NBA, day after Christmas, unbelievable. 4 buzzer beaters, basically, on the day after Christmas in the NBA after a good Christmas day. Hawks are 2 in this one. I don't know if you have any way to help Minidar on this one or not, Alex.
I don't. I would lean to taking the points here with the Heat, but I really don't know about this Atlanta team. And they come out and they surprise you. And they play to their competition, right? They play up or down depending on who they're playing. So nothing here. I'm looking. Jimmy Butler day-to-day, that could be huge in this one. So I'd keep an eye out for that.
Jimmy Butler wants out of Miami, despite Pat Riley saying we're not trading the 36-year-old star. We know Jimmy Butler wants out. Let's be real at this point. Boy.
I think that has been a distraction, though, and maybe since that is put to rest, we can see Miami start to play.
They usually get on some sort of run in the middle of the year. We all know this at this point, regardless of how bad or good they happen to be. All right, let's go back to college football, though. Let's go to, Alex, neither of us have much on the Military Bowl, this game in Annapolis, Maryland. But this is a crack for ECU and an in-state rival here today in NC State. These teams don't get to play each other particularly often. It's 7.5 on this one with the Pack laying it up from 5.5. This is also on the parlay jackpot card. Again, get it in by 12:30, $5 to win potentially $25,000 here at the South Point and the Rampart and up in Mesquite, Casablanca, and Virgin River. Huge overlay right now on that. I don't have much on this except if ECU, again, team battered by the transfer portal, if they have enough to stay in this game, it makes sense from a motivational standpoint. But boy, it's tough to justify with the way that they've been hacked in the portal here.
Definitely. And now we do see the interim head coach who stepped in for Houston or for Blake Harnell did he was named the full-time coach, and so I was correct the first time. Stepped in for Mike Houston.
Yes.
Blake Harnell is named the full-time head coach. So team could be very excited. The Pirates here to play for him in this bowl game. My dad brought up that fact too, that they don't get an opportunity to play NC State often, but I can't stop thinking about Indiana and Notre Dame and them not getting an opportunity to play the Fighting Irish often either. I know this is a little bit different, so lean to taking the points there, but nothing for me in this one.
Yeah, that'll only be a lean. Harrell named it after a 4-1 go after taking over, named the permanent head coach. See how it all plays out for those folks there in Greenville in this one. All right, this is the game of the day. Colorado and BYU from a college football perspective. Buffs are only 3 in this one with a total of 54. These two teams finishing 3rd and 4th respectively in the college football playoff. Or excuse me, in the Big 12, I should say. Here's the deal on this one, more than anything. You look at Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders playing in this game. That's what Dion has said all week, all month, that these two guys will finish it out. If they do play the full game here, Alex, I fully expect Colorado to win this game. Now, this is the thing with bowl season. You have to figure out how long are these guys going to actually play. Are they actually going to play the full game? Is it going to be a scenario where it could be, all right, they play into the third quarter and that's that? If that's the case, you got to be careful here. As much as I have gotten on BYU all year being this luck box overrated team, they still won 10 games.
Right.
They still are a good defensive football team. I still don't like their offense. I think their offense was mediocre at best this year. But you just have to tread carefully here with this. I would lay Colorado. I don't have a problem with that, especially with Hunter and Shedeur playing in this game. They are the better football team. So I would still lay 3 with Colorado. But if at any point, if they come out of this game, be ready to hop on BYU, especially if BYU is behind in the game and getting points.
For this one, I feel more confident that they will play longer than Cam Ward. I think maybe deep into the third even and try and get a big enough lead here, and then Dion puts in some of his backups. But they seem excited to play in this bowl game. They've talked about it all year long that they would finish out the season here. Shedeur's last game as a Colorado Buff. So I did lay the 3 here with Colorado, and I just think there's such a big difference offensively with those two guys compared to Jake Retzlaff, who I know that you have kind of been down on all year long here with the Cougars too. So
yeah, and again, for BYU, tremendous season any way you slice it. They're projected for a bottom 4 team in the conference, double-digit wins for the first time under Satake with a real schedule. That is, they of course had the great year in 2020 when they played nobody. Part of the reason Zach Wilson went 2nd overall, but. This is for BYU getting some stability in there where it looked like, all right, they may be over their heads in the Big 12. Not so much. Yep. Credit to them as much as I have thought they were overrated all year. So still a good year for them. All right, Army, La Tech, final bowl game of the night. This, remember, was supposed to be Army and Marshall, but Marshall opted out because they didn't have enough players.
that's right.
14 on this one. With the Black Knights as high as 17, so it is a 3-point move. Army without a few running backs in this game to hit the portal. I don't know. La Tech's pretty bad, Alex. So I would be looking to laying the favorite in this one, even with the absences on the Army side.
Ironically, though, and I will have to pull up their actual schedule, but my dad and I spent way too much time talking about this bowl game yesterday and really dove in trying to find out when. I mean, on one card, you were getting 17 with Louisiana Tech. So I think that was a little, overinflated there. I know how good Army has been all year, but trying to find out when they found out, and it was at least 10, 11 days ago. And then they really played to their competition. They took their 3 best opponents to overtime or a one-score game. So it would be taking the points here or nothing. But now that we are down to 14 again, I'm definitely going to stay away. If I could get that 17, I'd probably jump in with the underdog.
17 would have been good. Again, we'll see if this moves back up the ladder at all people want to, especially if favorites are having a good day today. I wonder if people will just lay 14 with Army, and that goes up the ladder a little bit again over the day. All right, real quick, before we bring Vinny in, college hoops, I just want to bring up one game, actually, and that's the game at the Intuit Dome today. UCLA takes on Gonzaga. Bruins have been much better than I thought they were going to be going into this year. Gonzaga is a 4-point favorite in this game. Total has moved. Line is not. Bruins, last time out, blew a halftime lead against UNC at Madison Square Garden. UNC won that game a week ago. Gonzaga, last time we saw them, they beat Bucknell by 21, but in their last high-end opponent game, they also lost the game at Madison Square Garden to UConn.
Yep.
This game is in L.A. at the new home of the Clippers, so it's let's call it a semi-home game for UCLA, but will their fans show? Who knows? But I don't think Gonzaga should be favored in this game. I think it should be a pick based off of what we've seen so far this year. So we'll take 4 with UCLA in that one in the college hoops realm. Hockey-wise, Alex, I do want to hit one big game in the Metro here today where, look, the New Jersey Devils, after a start to the year that was lackluster, have really turned it on and turned into the team that everyone was hopeful they would be, taking on Carolina. Canes $1.30 favorite at home against New Jersey in this one, Alex.
So this is a back-to-back. These two just played each other yesterday, and the Devils took care of business. I don't know. I lean to Carolina getting the best of them the next day, but we're going to have both backup goalies here. We see the total sitting at 6. Lean to the over here. We got a 6 flat. We saw a high-scoring game yesterday. We got backup goalies. I think we could get the same today.
Let's bring him in. Our good friend Vinny Magliulo, as always, here on the Saturday morning. All right, Vinny.
Hold on a minute.
Equipment. You're well. Don't break the equipment. Don't pull a Frank.
Listen, I told you, Sirocco. He must be under surveillance with all these wires. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Vinny, real quick to start off, the 3 NFL games, we went through them earlier in the show. Just how the action on those 3 here today on the Saturday tripleheader?
Did you get the Chargers up to 6?
Yes, we did.
One way.
Yes, we did. One-way traffic
action on the Chargers here up in the wing. We get again. This game opened 5.5 and got as low as 4 midweek, but it's been all Chargers in the last couple of days. So 6-42 there. Not a lot of movement on the total. In fact, no movement really on the total. The Bengals. It was that toggler. The Bengals laying 3 with the Bengals, taking 3.5 with the Broncos. But we've been at 3.5 for a little bit now. Total on this one at 50, which is up a little bit. Cardinals and Rams this evening. Nice spread of games too, right? Pacific times, 10 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and then 5:15. The Rams, a toggler here between 6.5 and 7. There'll be carryover going to this game. I suspect we'll see more Rams money. And right now, 6.5 and 47.5, which is down off the opener by about a point and a half. But I think that the public will think there's going to be points in this game. What a nice day in Los Angeles, though, for games, right? You have this game in the evening. You mentioned the UCLA Gonzaga game earlier today. So the folks in LA treated to some really good good sports action today. Wonder how many folks will try to do both. Get involved in. Listen, I know they're going to bet both games, but we'll see how many decide to go to both games. Good spread, good slate.
No, it's a good card of games in the NFL, and then of course you got about 3.5 hours to get this thing
midday.
in.
I think we had about 15 minutes. I was just with Chris Andrews in the back, so by the time I think that game goes up, it'll get a little delay to push it up. So got this tremendous overlay. Get involved with it. You could still give out gifts, right? You could give out New Year's gifts for folks.
That's right.
Right? Little
Get
stocking stuffer.
everybody a ticket.
15.
Just
pick 15 winners without the points. $5 a card, as many as you want. There you go, Jeffrey. There's the winner right there.
Well, I got to fill it out first. Vinny.
Well, yeah, it would help.
Yeah, I mean,
we can't pay you if it's not filled out.
No, I mean, look, if I mean, this is just like as Vince said yesterday. I mean, So you're filling out your Scantron bubbles like you did on every standardized test
That's right.
ever in existence.
You don't need a number 2 pencil.
No, well, that was the other thing. If you ever wanted to do that, Vinny, and bring out the number 2 pencils for us, that'd be a lot of fun.
I have a
right?
couple in the back.
Oh, well.
I'm always carrying a couple of number 2s.
Were you a mechanical pencil guy back when those were a thing?
No.
Never.
I don't use them now, mechanical. What are you talking about? I use them
First off, I don't
standard.
remember the last time I've seen a mechanical pencil, personally.
No.
People just don't use pencils anymore unless if they're in school.
I used a mechanical pencil when I first started handicapping hockey because I would need to erase, and I enjoyed using mechanical. But
it's
so
you
that
have
was
to
4 or 5 years ago.
So that was I actually proved my point perfectly, Alex.
Yeah.
That's pretty recent.
I tried to use a number 2 on
More
a golf
recent
course.
than you're expecting.
I had to use a number 2 on a golf course a couple of times,
That's
which
right.
I got away with, except they wouldn't allow the erasers on the golf course. You can imagine.
So Vinny, just bowl season altogether. We're on a string of just absurdly good bowl games right now.
No lead is safe.
Yeah, no lead is safe. No total is safe
Think
right
about
now.
it, right? I mean, every winner or a significant number of winners, outright winners in these games, have been down in the second half, down late even, and in a lot of cases by double digits. I mean, when you look at the results of these games and the way they're falling, like including the Vegas Bowl last night, which was an amazing ending. So if you if you bet these games, it's definitely going to contribute to a higher blood pressure for some folks, whether you have the favorite or the dog.
It's been a very, again, the quote unquote meaningless games have been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But I will say today, Vinny, if you're just looking through the numbers, really only the Miami-Iowa State game, because Cam Ward deciding to play, which was unexpected.
Yes.
At the time of the number release for these games. That's really the only game, and you guys were able to actually get in front of that by opening numbers late, Vinny, or later than other shops on some of these games.
You don't want to race through with these
exactly.
games.
For these, there's no reason to.
Because of again what we're talking about in terms of who's playing. The other part is once players announce who's playing. Colorado's another example, right?
Yeah.
Like how long are they going? Are these starters, particularly?
Yep.
Those that are going to the going to go into the draft, right? I mean, Colorado's a great example. Are we really going to see Shedeur Sanders, for instance, for the entire game today? I'd be surprised. So that's the other part of it where you want to watch it. These bowl games, I think, are a great example where if you're going to ever do in-game, this is probably the scenario where you want to take a look at, or at least consider the end game on these bowl games. Would you agree, Alex?
I would definitely agree with that. We've had a lot of overs too.
Yeah,
huh?
sure. Not just for the side, but for the total as well.
Yeah, for total.
Yeah.
Again, it's big bowl. This is the biggest bowl card left for a singular day.
Right?
Yeah, singular day. By the way, UConn up 10-7 already on UNC. On pace for another over. And that one, by the way, the field conditions at Fenway are brutal. Also, Vinny, you like the obstructed view camera in the one red zone? You a big fan of that?
No.
Pesky pole being pesky to say the least for the cameraman.
It's pretty interesting that they have that. But you know what? Hey, whatever. Does that help sell it, or I'm not sure. But
you got baseball stadiums with Yankee Stadium coming up next as well.
The Pinstripe Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah. Boston College and Nebraska. That game went down from 4 to 3.5. But you look at some of these, these games and how they've moved. Look at the Syracuse game yesterday. I mean, how.
Hey, the Mack truck you could drive through the middle actually was able to get through the middle yesterday.
Yeah. So pay attention to them. Watch them. There's again, these move a lot quicker. We don't have the same limits, and I think everybody understands why. But it's and you mentioned, Jeff, too, the Iowa State Miami game. That's the first game on the jackpot card today. So
you got time, 12:30, 3.5 hours.
Yep.
From now to make sure to get it in.
How many did you fill out? You just need one, right?
Well, I have the one there. This one's going to get filled out. There'll be other ones probably.
There you go.
I have to have an errand up in Summerlin today, so I'll probably visit Dwayne and get another one filled out there. Oh no, if I end up in
triangle,
Vinny, if I end up in Mesquite today, something's gone horribly wrong. No disrespect to Mesquite, but if I've ended up all the way there, I don't.
There you go.
If I end up in Mesquite, I'll end up in Utah then probably afterwards. That would be the only way that would end up happening, for sure.
And of course, we also have Fiesta, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, all those important games on this card as well. How's the handle been for that, or even to win outright?
Pretty good
in the playoffs.
For the playoffs, Alex. I mean, the handle's been great. I mean, and again, the limits are much higher. They're like NFL playoff games, as we've discussed. The action's been good, and I think we'll see it increase. Right, here we are Saturday heading into, we got the one on New Year's Eve with Penn State and Boise, where Penn State's now up to 11 and 53 on that one, and then the other three games on Wednesday, New Year's Day. Texas 13.5. They took the 14 with Arizona State, even with Jordan Tyson out for the Sun Devils. Ohio State and Oregon, we did touch 3, but it's been 2.5. I mean, we were talking yesterday with Chris and Jeff and Chris Felica, the Bear yesterday, where if you see a 3 on this game, I don't anticipate it lasting very long. 55.5 on that total, which is up a couple of points. And then Ohio State and Oregon. The Notre Dame Georgia game, which will go at probably closer to 6 o'clock our time tomorrow. Georgia 1.5. Gunnar Stockton under center, getting a little bit of betting attention. Georgia, they laid the one with Georgia now, 1.5 and 44 total was.
I am super intrigued to just see how all that plays out with Gunnar Stockton. And like I said to Barry yesterday, as great as the Oregon-Ohio State game is, this Notre Dame-Georgia game is unbelievable. Yeah. Just with these, again, I think the winner of the Sugar Bowl and the winner of the Rose Bowl will play in a national title game. But boy, it could be a fight to even get out of those games for both of those teams.
Yeah, I think, these. And again, I know there's some big numbers here, double digits in a couple of, the first 2 games. But again, they're playoff games, and at least we have an idea of that everyone's playing. I mean, whoever's healthy, right? We're not seeing opt-outs here. Penn State's backup quarterback left before the first playoff game, so which is good. We want to see stability, really. At least know who's playing and who's not.
Well, we have stability in these games.
That's for sure.
That we know for sure. All right. Alex and I are back in 24 hours. Small card on the NFL tomorrow. So, Vinny, we might ask you here to talk about the spread for New Year's Eve for you guys. And not by football spreads. I mean, like actual spread. For like what you want
to eat?
I mean, yeah.
We're always going to eat.
We might have a kitchen by the book show. Honestly, I mean, why not?
We always.
I forgot to ask Colucci on the air what the Colucci spread was for Christmas. I'm really ashamed of myself.
Well, I could tell you had on Christmas Eve you have the 7 fishes.
Yeah, I know. I know that.
But then on Christmas Day, well, then you got you tone it down a little bit. You got the antipasta salad. Of course, you've got the lasagna and the stuffed shells. Probably some manicotti. You've got some brioche. I mean, how far you want to go?
Man, I can't even remember the last time I had stuffed shells. What a great dish. Oh. What a great dish that is. So good.
And you know what?
You guys are making me hungry.
You bet the over. Like, you just look at them and say, I can't eat that. You knock off half a tray.
I mean, you look at them, you see, how could I possibly eat the 6 that are in front of me, and they're gone in 25 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have enough unless you have too much.
Man, what a way to end it here today. Good luck on all your plays out there, Alex. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good luck on all the plays. Sean Drew Dog, thank you. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you again in 24 hours from now, previewing the next to last Sunday of the NFL regular season right here on Sports by the Book.